All right, Beyond the Gates fans, hope everybody's doing well. And this was episode 59. It had some pretty powerful emotional scenes. I gotta give it to you. I mean, from Vanessa and Ted to Tracy and Anita, it just feels like we are digging deeper and deeper into what makes these characters tick. And I I like how we're really diving deeper into the Anita and Vernon reservoirs, if you will, where people just feel like, okay, can we get some more Anita? Can we get more Vernon? And it's almost 60 episodes in. Now we're finally getting more depth to their characters. I mean, in episode 58, when Vernon had that phone call, some people are speculating some stuff about that. It's like, hey, don't call me on my personal line. You call me on my work number. And I'm thinking, okay, what's going on here? And a lot of people are speculating there's some, low key secretive stuff going on. Then when it comes to this episode, we're learning that Anita did some things she isn't necessarily proud of. So there's that. And MVP Shanice, well, actually, I feel like Leslie would probably take that award because the moment she put on that Nicole wig and dress, I lost it. This woman gives the evil queen from Snow White a run for her money in terms of the things she says and does in front of that dang mirror in the apartment. So yeah, solid 10 out of 10. I thought this was a great way to close out the week. And the promo for next week is insane, man. So we might be getting closer. We might be getting closer to finding out about Martin's secret. And this moron is dumb enough to confront Bill and Haley, but specifically Bill, in a crowded country club setting. And Bill even warns him, mind where you are, Martin. And of course, the other portions of the promo have to do with Joey and Vanessa seemingly getting it on, which I get that Ted hurt your friend, but the way you act within your own marriage, I can't really take whenever Vanessa, gets mad seriously towards somebody, quote unquote, cheating. Then you have Haley apparently being pregnant and everybody reacting to that. So before going into the breakdown, make sure you take a moment to hit like and subscribe. Follow me on social media. Links are in the description below. Hit the notification bell and select all. That way you don't miss out whenever I post new content on the channel. And with that being said, let's dive in. So let's talk about Anita and Vernon first. So it looks like, Vernon's on his way out, and it turns out he's going over to Martin and Smitty's to help Samantha out with what was it, like a Black History or history paper, an assignment for school. And on the way out, they're all lovey-dovey and whatnot. And Vernon's like, "Are you sure you don't need me to stay here?" It's kind of like kind of like peacekeeper in case things get tense. And he's like, "Oh no, we're doing fine." And as soon as Vernon leaves, the mood drastically shifts because it just appears like maybe Tracy was kind of biting her tongue because first Vernon was around, then Naomi showed up, but now it's like, since it's just the two of them, all bets are off. And to be completely blunt, shit gets real. She keeps it 100. First with the low-key remarks about, "Oh, well, you hit the lottery, huh?" What do you mean? Didn't you? I mean, come on now, look at all this. Hey, I earned what I have. From the solo career to the awards to the come up, all that stuff, I worked for it. Oh, is that what you tell yourself? And then basically she talks about how after Anita left the group and Tracy, while talented, had to work, smaller venues because it was just her. She was talented, but everybody's like, "Oh, when are you going to get Anita to show up?" Or when, Anita this, Anita that. And yikes, it's kind of like when Michael left the Jacksons. Everybody, well, for the most part, tried to do their solo thing, but it just quite didn't take off the way Thriller did, of course. So now it's like nobody wants Marlon without Michael, or nobody wants Jackie without Michael. And she kept going in. And then apparently, Anita basically talked about how she couldn't hold on anymore. She wanted to make her own decisions and do her own thing. And, that guilt is pretty much, what she's carried with it. And Tracy's not buying it. The fact like, oh, what were you, like some wounded bird with a damaged wing or something? No, I'm not buying it whatsoever. But then Anita drops it and gets real too, basically saying that, yeah, I had to be ruthless. I had to. Because I needed to get rid of anyone or anything that reminded me of who I was when I didn't have anything. Oh, and I'm sorry that you and Sharon became collateral damage. Oh, you talking about everything? What about someone? And I'm thinking, wait, what? And I've seen some interesting theories because some fans are speculating that this someone could be, I don't know, Anita having an abortion, or Anita having a baby but giving the baby to someone else. There are a lot of things. There are a lot of things that we don't know. And I'm glad we're delving deep into Anita's past now. And like I said, even though it's hard to think, holy crap, we're almost at episode 60 and we're finally getting this. But it's the fact that, it's only been 3 months or so since the show first came on. But hey, that's what happens when you get 5 episodes a week for the most part. So this is very interesting. I saw some fans on Twitter like, you know what? Anita needs to get a train ticket and send Tracy's behind back where she came from. But no, this is like a decades old beef that needs to be squashed. And all I'm saying is, if Tracy, who seemed like the nice and sweet one, finally showed her true colors, once it was just her and Anita, I can't even fathom how wild it would get if it was Sharon who was in that room instead of Anita. But here's what I'm thinking. They have to have this war of words because, like I said, if the nicest one of the group has finally, unleashed her rage, I'm thinking this conversation needs to happen. And if Tracy is able to kind of see things from Anita's perspective, or at the very least, get a different perspective of things from her angle, they can work it out. That way, when Sharon, if she does eventually show up, yeah, she can basically do what Tracy's doing now. But apparently, the betrayal or whatever Anita did hurt her the worst. So Sharon is not going to be an easy sell. But it might be easier if her other two bandmates or sisters, if they are, united, then perhaps they can eventually open Sharon's heart again. But we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, stuff got intense. So we go over to Smitty and Martin, and Smitty is telling Martin how wild this social media story is getting because of just how impressionable young people are. And social media can just really mess them up, especially if you have the wrong people with the wrong motives using it for the wrong reasons. And in the midst of this, Smitty wants to talk to Martin about something, but he doesn't want to do it because, Martin is deflective. That's who he is. He doesn't really want to discuss things. So Vernon stops by to help Samantha out with the paper and, talks about the protests from back in the day. And it must be something else, to be an orphan, but then get adopted into a family with such a rich history. That's pretty amazing. And then from there, you have Smitty, who is talking about how he's having no luck getting any Zoom calls about a proposed bill. It's like, I'm spooking everyone. And I'm thinking, like, is it because they don't want to talk to Martin because he'll press them on the issue? Or is it about, maybe glimpses of his secret being discovered, and then that's why nobody wants to talk to him? Because that could lead into why Smitty wants to have a one-on-one with him. But I'm thinking that, oh yeah, that's right, because last week? That was when Bill and Smitty met up briefly at the diner, talking about secrets and whatnot. So that's what Smitty wants to talk about. And Smitty's like, okay, well, Samantha and, her grandfather are doing their project together. So why don't me and you step out for some lunch so we can get some one-on-one time and talk? And Martin instantly takes this as a chance to say, hey, how about we go out to lunch together? And Smitty is pissed off. So they get to the diner and they see an interesting pairing there. So over at the hospital, Doug is celebrating because his cast is removed and his hand is just fine. And he asks Shanice about, hey, is, my wife here? I thought she was supposed to be here, to celebrate with me the moment my hand was free. But she's a no-show. And from there, at the diner, it's because Vanessa and Joey are there together. Apparently, Joey was there watching Vanessa doing her realtor thing, and he was very impressed. So from there, Doug actually shows up and sees him from a distance. He pretty much steps to the table and it's like, oh, well, I thought you'd be, at the hospital when my hand, got taken out of the cast. And Vanessa's like, oh, well, I'm sorry. I was busy with Joey. And Joey's like, yeah, how about you pull up a chair? You know something about that, wouldn't you? Yeah, no, I'm going to go. And he just leaves pissed. In the moment he goes through the door, that's when Samantha, Smitty, Vernon, and Martin come in. And Martin's like, oh, Dr. McBride, what's good? Not a damn thing. And then Vernon's like, well, I think it has something to do with what's going on over there. So then the family sits over in the booth, and then they're talking about Vanessa and Joey. And Vanessa like, oh, wow, it's like, seems like whenever you're in a room and a group of people come in, you grab their attention. So from there, Vanessa is like, okay, well, after some flirting, of course, she decides it's time to go. And then over at the booth, you have Smitty and Martin kind of playing tennis in terms of throwing shade. It's like, not everything has to be an investigation. And you could tell that Samantha is used to this because she's trying to deflect about, oh, well, Terrell has a girlfriend. Well, maybe not a girlfriend, but they're going to know each other well. And after the fact, you have everybody about to leave. But Smitty's like, Martin and I have to do something real quick. So, Samantha, could you take go home with your grandfather? And, Vernon's like, oh, that's fine. Well, some things can't wait. Let me grab some food for Anita and Tracy to remind them of, good old Chicago. And then we'll be on our way. So Smitty's like, oh, no. We're going to talk right here. We're going to talk right now. And in hindsight, when I think about the promo for next week, something tells me that even though Martin isn't going to reveal the truth to Smitty, knowing that his husband is pressing him has him assuming that Bill has probably said or done something to point Smitty in the direction of being suspicious, all in the name of making sure Martin doesn't forget that it's important to have Bill in his corner. And that's why he confronts him at the country club. At least that's what I'm thinking. So from there, let's go over to Eva's hotel room. That's pretty much where the episode picks up, where Ted and Leslie have a standoff. And essentially, he lashes out at Leslie due to the fact that he kicked out their daughter from the apartment and calls her a piece of work. And then, it's kind of funny because of the fact that she just opts to throw shade at Ted. It's like, oh, well, you got our daughter a salon. I didn't get her a salon. I got her a chair at one of the, wait, if I'm not mistaken, this isn't one of the, not the country club, but it's one of those high-end salon venues in the area. Yeah, so basically, that's where Eva goes to do work. And I think the funniest part of this scene was when, oh, I'm just here to check on our little girl. That's it. Really? This bag looks heavy. And then he pretty much dumps out all the hotel stuff she swiped, from the robe to the lotions and everything. And it's just nonstop back and forth about the lies about Eva and her involvement with Lori's accident. It's like, you would stoop so low to throw our own daughter under the bus. And he knows Leslie did it. But then Leslie pretty much counters like, you better, hey, push me and see what happens. Essentially saying that she would sacrifice Eva. Basically, if you try to drop dime on me about Laura, wait and see what happens to Eva. And then Ted pretty much said, F around and find out, Leslie. F around and find out, Dana. Sorry, Dana. Crazy bitch. That's Miss Bitch to you. This woman is something else. So she goes back to her apartment, and as I mentioned earlier in the video, is saying affirmations to herself in the mirror about Teddy boy, always thinking about Nicole. What does she have that I don't have? Because she talks about, her different personas while putting the dresses in front of her in the mirror before. I know what he wants. Oh, yes, I'm Dr. Nicole Richardson. Yes, formerly a Dupree. Yeah, I had to throw my accolades in people's faces as soon as we meet, even though they didn't ask for it. Psychobabble. Okay, I gotta admit, that was probably my favorite line of the episode. So, after leaving the diner, Vanessa goes right to the hospital to talk about how, I honestly don't want to leave Joey, but I need to go be with Doug. Oh, this woman. Fine, but I don't know about her character. So, Shanice is actually chatting up with Ted briefly about Andre's documentary. She's basically concerned about, how she's depicted, because I do remember that was one of my favorite character moments for Shanice in the entire series so far. Because up to this point, she's the eavesdropping gossip of the of the hospital, but she's the kind of person you want in your corner. And from there, she was hyped up about the documentary. Oh, I'm going to give me some new scrubs and everything. I want to be looking good when it's time for lights, camera, action. But when you go to Andre interviewing her, she was really nervous, which was something we've never seen from Shanice at all. However, the moment she brings up Ashley, that's when she's like, oh, okay, let me stir the pot in terms of Andre and Ashley. So it's like she's not comfortable when the spotlight is on just her, but when it's the spotlight on her being a chance to be messy, yeah, she is going to do that because, well, good old good old Shanice. Now, from there we go over to Vanessa showing up, and she basically says, "Ooh, I've been waiting for this, Ted. How dare you walk around here like everything's okay? My friend and blah 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 blah. Vanessa babble, Vanessa babble. She was loyal. Babble. Thanks, Leslie. I'm now going to use babble whenever somebody just runs their mouth and I don't really care to hear what they have to say. I ain't gonna lie. I know that's Vanessa's best friend, but damn, she seems personally hurt by what happened. I don't know. Maybe it has to do with the fact that maybe because her own marriage, the love has been gone for years. She looked at Ted and Nicole as like relationship goals. And then the fact that Ted and his actions from decades ago tarnishes her view of him, then that's probably why it hurts. Because listen, yeah, when your best friend hurts and it hurts you. But Vanessa's, it really felt personal. But like I said, I can't really take what she says seriously because how dare you condemn someone for an affair that occurred over 2 decades ago when it seems like ever since this show first started, you've had over 20 different partners outside of your husband. And you were just sitting with one, breaking bread with them at the diner. And based on the promo for next week, you're going to F Joey too. No, I can't take her seriously. Well, Jeremy, her situation is different from Nicole and Ted. I know, but it's like, people in glass houses and all that jazz. I mean, no, I can't take her seriously. I can't. Now, I love how Ted was like, okay, say what you got to say. But you can sit up here and are you done? he pretty much pulled a Kevin Hart. Are you done? Are you done? But basically talks about how I've had to deal with the guilt of that situation every day. And it wasn't some ongoing thing. It happened when it happened and that was it. And I love how Shanice in the background, just Shaniceing it up with the side eyes and the smirks, because it's like the moment Vanessa said, oh, it's you, Shanice had that look on her face like, oh shit, it's about to go down. So after, they pretty much exchange words, he's pretty much like, okay, I gotta go. So they gets on the elevator and Shanice sees Vanessa upset. Oh, hi, Shanice. And then I love how Vanessa and Shanice apparently have such a strong relationship that she knows that when Shanice hits her with the calming nurse voice, then she must be looking down bad. So they pretty much deflect in terms of, oh, have you seen my husband? No, he bounced a little while ago, but he said he was looking for you. So maybe he's out there, you can run into him. Oh, that's okay. And then, she calls, but gets hit with the voicemail. So, yeah. And like I said, you have some nerve trying to go in on Ted when you were just entertaining another man's attention when your husband approached you because you weren't there when his cast got off, like you said so. So, miss me, Vanessa. You fine, though, but miss me with that. But, yeah, that's pretty much the episode in a nutshell, folks. Again, we are getting closer and closer to 100 episodes. I've enjoyed this series so far, and I hope to continue reviewing it in the future. Memorial Day is coming up, and I believe that means next Monday there is no episode, which works for me. I have a chance to kind of catch my breath and edit and post the numerous Beyond the Gates videos, discussion videos, and put them on the channel. I've said this like 2 weeks ago, but now I'm finally catching up on all my uploads. Like on my main channel, Our Kind of Entertainment, you'll notice I posted a bunch of non-House of Pain videos recently. So I got like 11 more videos, and then I'm officially caught up with everything on that channel. Aside from Sheeted People, I need to watch that over the weekend. I got like 40 something videos I need to edit that are non-Beyond the Gates for this channel. So if you're like, hey, you do good with your soap opera content, but I miss when this channel was about, pop culture and other topics like that, I have 43 videos pre-recorded. I just have not edited and posted. So they're coming. Hopefully I will be officially done before the end of this month. That's my goal. So look out for that. And like I said, no episode Monday. Get ready for a bunch of uploads. And I might do a live stream between now and Tuesday so we can kind of do a quick recap before it's time to, see what happens with Haley's pregnancy and hopefully Martin's secret coming to light. And with that being said, have a great weekend, and I'll catch you all in the next video.